Did you know AI is stealing your time? Hold up, you inquire. Isn't AI supposed to make me more productive and save me time? But think about it. Think back to when someone introduced you to that glorious dopamine hit called ChatGPT. Have you found yourself working more or resting more? If you're like me, you're working more. Whether it's on a new side project or fixing code, it may be refining messaging or appeasing your manager who swears by that newest AI fad. Me? I find myself working more and more. OpenAI promised me time savings, but gave me gray hair and sleepless nights instead. What's going on? We're seeing a repeat of the leisure revolution in the 1970s. That's when IBM introduced the personal computer and promised a life full of leisure. The Industrial Revolution reduced the number of hours worked per week by a large margin. So, society assumed that personal computers would be a repeat of that revolution. They theorized that this new wave of computers would reduce the number of hours worked. Why? Because of boosted productivity. With that extra productivity at work, people would have so many more hours to do stuff they enjoyed, right? Right? Not quite. Here's what actually happened. There was an increase in output per employee within the same 40-hour time frame or longer. With a greater output per employee, the need for more jobs decreased. The amount of work done by one person often compensated for a smaller workforce. Why hire more when fewer employees do trick? Computers sped up the pace of work, but managers expected employees to still work 40 hours. Instead of using the productivity gains to rest, they worked more. Some common themes from that time have continued today. First, we now experience constant connectivity. We're always on some device. This has reduced our time available to do other leisure activities away from screens. That faster pace of work, it's accelerating. This is especially true with AI. Same with the increased workload. Managers expect all productivity gains to go back into the company. Beyond all that, technology from that time has enabled the gig economy. More people than ever are moonlighting or freelancing to make some extra cash. Add in the pressure post-pandemic to return to greater than 40-hour work weeks, and we have a problem. #hustle culture. Speaking of the gig economy, did you know I have a Patreon? If you want to support my original content and feed YouTube's AI, consider becoming a member. So, with AI, it appears we're seeing history repeat. You've seen the commercials and the marketing. Save time, they say. Offload your boring tasks to AI, they promise. But we all know we just end up babysitting our AI boss baby. Let's first ask ourselves who benefits from all this AI. It's two of these three groups, and I bet you can guess who it is. Is it the companies and their shareholders, the employees, or the consumers? Research shows, you guessed it, the companies and the consumers. It's starting to make sense why companies continue to push AI usage. I know I'm a sample size of one, but I also know that I, as an employee, have yet to realize these magical productivity gains promised by AI. In fact, a large number of employees see an extra 3.15 hours of work and a reduction of 3.2 hours of leisure per week. The more AI exposure the employee has, the worse it gets. Even worse, the more you use AI, the less useful it appears to be. So, we work more while benefiting less from our labor. But what about productivity? Well, when it comes to coding, the Model Evaluation and Threat Research Group looked at this topic. Devs predicted they would see a 24% boost in productivity on average. The results were on the complete other side of the spectrum. The research shows a 19% drop, not a boost, a drop in productivity when using the AI tool of the dev's choice. But it makes sense, doesn't it? On larger and more complex repositories, AI doesn't have the context. Even on small projects, AI doesn't have a lot of the context. Despite that, there's a lot of unrealistic expectations of how useful AI is. We under-index the importance of devs being familiar with the repository, and at the same time, we over-index the competence of LLM models. Okay, so it's not great at speeding up devs or coding in general. No biggie, no worries. What about productivity in general? Well, it turns out AI integrated into PCs also makes people less productive. OpenAI can't catch a break. To be fair, people not knowing how AI works seems to be the cause. It's also a study commissioned by Intel, so let's take all this with a heaping pile of salt. So, who knows, as our robot overlords take over, we may see some actual time savings. Until then, me and Grandma are gonna have a hard time wrangling our chatbots to do what we want them to do. So what gives? It seems like all this technology is being introduced to reduce the number of hours we need to work. If that's true, why aren't we seeing the benefits? Well, it seems that a human's tendency is to not fill leisure time with more leisure, it's to fill it with more work. Why? There are 3 common reasons why we don't fill our downtime with leisure. The first is dopamine addiction. Dopamine is a chemical in the brain that causes a reward response during fun activities. It reinforces behavior and motivates us to seek that behavior out. This is what makes screens and social media so addicting. We scroll and scroll, we see an image or video that triggers a response. When we like it or comment, we get a delightful sound, and that reinforces the feeling. Then we keep scrolling, seeking out that next dopamine hit. Another source of dopamine? Checking items off your to-do list. This is especially true if you like your job or the work that you do. If AI lets you finish some tasks faster, you're going to be marking off a lot of your to-do list a lot faster. And since we get a dopamine hit every time we do, we continue going down our never-ending checklist. Before we know it, we've worked a 14-hour day, we're exhausted, and we have no time to play our favorite mobile games. In short, AI enables us to get hit with more dopamine throughout the day. This is in large part because we're able to knock out more menial, tedious tasks than before, or at least make us think we are. To make it worse, we start to look forward to the next round of dopamine hits the next day. When we should be resting, we're still thinking about working. The second common reason is economic pressure. Many people continue to use AI because they're either afraid AI will take their jobs, or people who use AI will. This may be true, which is where the pressure comes from. People keep using AI because they need to keep their job. There are so many corporate directives out there now mandating that employees adopt an AI-native worldview. This means that they need to do everything, all the work and planning they do, with AI. This is unfortunate. The studies we looked at earlier showed that devs are spending more time doing less. It's not only them, the general population is less productive with AI-enabled technology. Add onto that economic fear the sheer amount of dopamine we're exposing our brains to. No wonder we have no time to do anything fun. We're exhausted after a long day of arguing with Claude Code to get a project done. What should have taken hours took a day. But since the CEO is encouraging AI use, we don't even get to enjoy the productivity gains from our AI usage. I suppose I'll need to keep using it though so I don't lose my job. Beyond that, all time savings from AI goes to doing more work. Instead of saving 4 hours and clocking only 36 hours of work a week, we use that extra 4 hours to do more work. And if the studies are true, we're working an extra 3 hours on top of that. So instead of saving 4 hours, we lose 3 and work 43 hours instead of 40. Of course we do. We don't want to lose our jobs. The last common reason is the bandwagon effect. Everyone's doing it, so I need to do it. This appears to be most prevalent in companies. We've seen so many companies declaring that they're replacing sales and customer service teams with AI agents. Then other companies see it and think, hey, now that's a good idea. Instead of researching and reviewing, they dive right in. Companies fire everyone and then scramble to hire them back, like Klarna did. Mimicry is not a competitive advantage. I do believe there's a place for AI in the workplace, but imitation ain't it. It goes back to that old saying of, if your friends were jumping off a bridge, would you do it too? Just because everyone else is using AI doesn't mean you have to. And also, just because everyone is using AI in a specific way doesn't mean you have to. Sure, use AI, but use it in a wise and strategic way. Don't just use it because XYZ Inc. is using it. We're in a weird spot when it comes to AI. There is value in using AI, whether it's to just keep our jobs or to keep up with the times. We have seen major breakthroughs in science and medicine, and these breakthroughs come from the same models that we as a general population use as a lazy way to write emails or summarize articles. Where there's good, there's often bad. AI is robbing a majority of people of time trying to bend the will of robots to our own. Pair that with economic pressure. Pair it with the constant nudging of management to find efficiencies wherever possible. With all that, it's easy to see that a major burnout is on the horizon. Tell me what you think in the comments though. Are we on our way to an AI Armageddon, or does the good outweigh the bad? Until then, I'll see you in the next one.